We have seen how to add and how to subtract decimal numbers. Now let's see how to do these operations together. Here is an example. 12.32 minus 7.2 minus 2.41 plus 3.5. To do these operations, let's first see what are the steps. The first step is to add together all the numbers with a positive or a plus sign before them. The second step is to add together all the numbers with a negative or a minus sign before them. The third step is to subtract the second sum from the first sum. That means if we call the first sum as 1 and the second sum as 2, then the third step is 1 minus 2. So the first step is to add all the numbers with a plus sign. If you look at this example, there is only one number with a plus sign before that, which is 3.5. And the other number, which is 12.32, does not have any sign before that. In mathematics, if there is no sign before a number, then you can treat that as a positive sign. That means we are going to add these two numbers for the first step, which are 12.32 and 3.5. And for the second step, the numbers with a negative sign would be 7.2 and 2.41. So let's do the first addition. 12.32 plus 3.50. Look at the extra 0 we have put after 5 in case of 3.5. So let's add 2 plus 0 equals 2, 3 plus 5 equals 8, 2 plus 3 equals 5 and 1 plus 0 equals 1. The decimal point is written exactly below the decimal points of the numbers that we added. So the answer of this sum is 15.82. Now let's do the second step. Add the numbers with a negative sign or a minus sign before them. So let's add 7.20 and 2.41. Again, an extra 0 is written after 7.2. So let's add 0 plus 1 equals 1, 2 plus 4 equals 6 and 7 plus 2 equals 9. So the second sum is 9.61. The third step is to subtract the second sum from the first sum. So let's subtract 9.61 from 15.82. 2 minus 1 equals 1, 8 minus 6 equals 2 and 15 minus 9 equals 6. So the answer is, the final answer is 6.21. Now let's discuss these steps. The first step is simple to understand, that we add all the numbers that we are supposed to add. When you are adding together all the numbers with a positive sign before that, it is easy to understand because it is just like any other addition. But in case of the second step, when we are supposed to do the subtraction, why are we adding all those numbers that we want to subtract? Let's consider a simple example. Suppose you have 7 chocolates with you. You give 2 chocolates to one kid and 1 chocolate to another kid. So how many chocolates are you left with? First you need to subtract 2 and then you need to subtract 1 from that answer. So you are going to do 7 minus 2 is equal to 5 and from 5 you will subtract 1. So 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. So you are left with 4 chocolates. Instead of doing 2 subtractions, that means in the first step subtract 2 and in the second step subtract 1, what you could do is you could group together the numbers to be subtracted. That means you could group together 2 and 1. Grouping together 2 and 1 is equal to adding that together. So you could also do like this. You could add 2 and 1. So 2 plus 1 becomes 3. And then you subtract that 3 from 7, which is equal to 4. So now you see why we added the numbers to be subtracted. When we added the numbers to be subtracted, we actually grouped them together, and instead of doing the repeated subtraction, we subtracted the addition of the numbers that we wanted to subtract. We have followed the exact similar thing in the above example. That is why in the second step, we are adding together all the numbers with a negative sign. That means all the numbers that we want to subtract together. And in the third step, we have subtracted that addition of all the numbers to be subtracted from the addition of the numbers that were to be added. Now that you have understood what we have done and why we have done, let's take a look at another example. This example is a little bit complicated. That means there are some carries and some borrows in it. So let's take a look. 15.83 minus 17.3 plus 6.5 minus 2.703. So in the first step, we are going to add together all the numbers with the plus sign before them. So let's add 15.83 and 6.50. Look at the extra 0 after 6.5. Let's add 3 plus 0 equals 3. 8 plus 5 equals 13. So we write down 3 and carry over 1. 1 plus 5 equals 6. 6 plus 6 equals 12. So we write down 2 and carry over 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So the first sum is 22.33. Now the second step is to add together all the numbers with a negative sign before them. So let's add 17.300 and 2.703. Again, in the first number, we have put 2 extra zeros after 3. Let's add 0 plus 3 equals 3, 0 plus 0 equals 0, 3 plus 7 equals 10. So we write down 0 and carry over 1. 7 plus 1 equals 8 plus 2 equals 10. So we write down 0 and carry over 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So the second sum is 20.003. The third step is to subtract the second sum from the first sum. So let's do it. 22.330 minus 20.003. Let's subtract. Now we need to subtract 3 from 0. 0 is smaller than 3. So we borrow from the next column. Let's borrow 1 from 3. So 3 becomes 2 and 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 3 equals 7. 2 minus 0 equals 2. 3 minus 0 equals 3. 2 minus 0 equals 2. And 2 minus 2 equals 0. So the final answer is 2.327 or 2 and 327 thousandths.